Day 3. Don't be jealous of my cool outfit and my cool sleeve little Velcro thingies. So here we go. Hanging the chacos, which I don't know how that's going to work because it's already throwing me off balance, but might have a stress fracture in my left foot. So we're going to walk to the first town, see how we do. Had an amazing breakfast at this amazing hotel. It's amazing what a cup of coffee and a hard-boiled egg can do for you. So let's see, let's recap. I need to go, I think, Emily reminded me, I think it's 12 miles today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that because my feet are a mess. Blisters I can protect. Stress fracture, there's a very big hot spot on the top of my foot and it's kind of, feels like it needs some WD-40. So it might not be a stress fracture, but maybe a pulled ligament or a strained ligament. So I'm thankful that I have a rest day tomorrow and we will regroup. Yeah, I'm feeling mentally much better, but I'm also still ready to go home. So somebody asked me at breakfast, did you get what you came for? Because you would leave if you leave this early. And I said, I actually think I have. I came because I needed to know who I was again. And okay, one second. I've been a mom since my entire adult life. And at my core, that's who I am. I always wanted 4 kids. I've been blessed with 4 kids and some amazing in-law children. And I could not ask for anything more. I love my grandbabies. And that is who I am at my core. God made me to be a mom and a wife. And that's, so if I don't go to the end, it's not a loss because I came to find out who I was again. And I am exactly who God made me to be. So all that said, we will regroup, see what my foot is doing, and I'll have it looked at in Pamplona. I have traveler's insurance for this very reason, and I will keep you updated. Y'all, we are immediately going up a freaking hill. Oh, I'm so over it. And I'm walking like an older woman because my left foot is just hurting. I can feel it squeaking. So I'm sure it's a ligament issue and not a bone issue. I'm going to just make it to the first town and go from there. But truly, if I didn't see another hill again in my life, I don't think I'd be upset about it. I'm going to die today. No, I won't. I'm not manifesting that. But let's see. 3K. So about 3 miles to La Rosonia, which I've heard has got good coffee. It looks like it's not quite as uphill and then downhill. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm going to go find a doctor in Pamplona to look at my foot because I don't want to mess it up. Cool sign though. Okay, I am walking a little bit faster. I'm not using my poles. It's much more flat. But whatever that pain is in my left foot is going up the front of my foot, up my shin. So maybe after my calves warm up, it'll be better. I don't want to like start walking funky because it hurts and mess up my hips because you know it's all connected and it'll be a hot mess. So I think I hear people behind me catching up. So we'll see. I know I've said that like 10 times. I was hoping once I warmed up a bit, everything would smooth out, but it's not looking good. So I met a gentleman, I think yesterday morning. All these days are really flowing together. From Australia. And he gave me a really big lecture about fueling, and I think I might have even mentioned him. So this morning I had a good breakfast. I had orange juice and toast with jam, good carb stuff. And I thought, oh, he'd be proud. And I was walking and I ran into him on the trail. So his name is Irving from Australia. And I told him, I said, my foot's really hurting. And he's like, you should have it looked at and not walk on it to do more damage. So I think it's tendons. I don't think it's a stress fracture because it is moving up my shin. So I do have some KT tape. So at the next stop, I will YouTube KT tape for that. And he said, see you in Santiago. Oh, so funny. Anyway, that's my 20-minute update, I guess. I've only been walking for a little less than an hour. It's only gone like maybe 2 miles. So that was about the end of my recording of my Camino. A lot has happened. I made it to Pamplona via taxi. I got a taxi from La Sonia, and that gentleman at the coffee shop was amazing. He gave me some really great, wise insight on the 3 things you would learn on the Camino. One of them had to do with people actually not necessarily listening to you, but just wanting to be heard. A lot of us are out there wanting to be seen. And there was a couple other tips. I'd written them down, but so he got me to the taxi, and I got dropped off at the pharmacy, which, because there was a language barrier, and also it was San Fermin, so I couldn't even get dropped off at my hostel. And so I ended up walking to the hostel, dropping my stuff, and wandering through the crowds to find a hospital that I could get an x-ray on my foot to see what was going on with my foot, because it was really, really hurting. And it was not a stretch fracture. It was a ligament issue. Hindsight, it was because a bottle was dropped on my foot way back in February. Hadn't even thought about what the problem was. Didn't even think anything about that when I was walking because my foot hadn't been bugging me. But that was exactly the spot that was hurting. And the doctor in the ER was like, take a couple of days of rest. So I had my night at the hostel, and then I had booked a second night in Pamplona because I was like, I need to rest. I need to not walk so fast. Or so far each day. And I had in my head, okay, I got to that next room, and that was the 10th of July. And I did laundry, and I tried to stay off my foot, but I had forgotten to get a stamp at the hostel. So I walked a mile back over to the hostel to get my stamp. And then I'd forgotten my passport. So I never did get my stamp for Pamplona. And so I got back to it was a dorm room. And I was thinking, oh, this will be perfect. I can just book another night because I needed to rest. And it was like $200 or $300 a night. So I was like, okay, could I go ahead and just go up a couple of stages and then just start my 100K over again? I didn't really want to do that either, but I wanted to at least get the 100K. I'd come all the way to Pamplona, at least get the 100K. And then I got a phone call from my daughter, and she was in hysterics, and she's pregnant, and so I thought something had happened to the baby, and it was my dog. My dog had passed away, and so I was alone in Spain in this dorm room. And my dog was my best friend. My dog was my little shadow. Chester was my empty nest companion that I got when my kids moved out. And I only had 7 years with him, almost 8 years. He was going to be 8 in August. And so that really threw me for a huge spiral. I just didn't even, and I made a lot of emotional decisions. I didn't try and go 2 stages up and rest and grieve. I just was like, I need to come home. I just need to come home. And so I had booked my airline ticket with miles, and I didn't have enough miles to make up the difference to go home. So I ended up just getting refunded on the miles, paying out of pocket for a ticket. And so thankful I had traveler's insurance. It ended up covering the plane ticket home because of my foot issue. And in hindsight, should I have walked anyway? Probably not. I would have done more damage than needed. And I didn't really want to. That was another thing, is I was weighing, okay, do I just continue on, get my 100K and then be done, because I didn't want to do more damage, but I wanted the 100K to get the Compostela. All that to say, it all abruptly stopped. I wasn't going to continue. And losing my dog really, I don't know. I know it's just a dog to some people. Some people like, it's just a dog, you're fine. But Winchester was his name. I called him Chester, and I got his little paw prints. When you lose your best friend like that, abruptly, he wasn't sick. We don't really know what had happened. He was a Papillon poodle mix or Yorkie poo, so he had a trachea issue. So anyway, I'm not going to get into all the weeds of that, but that is how my Camino ended. And so I do have dreams and plans to go back and start back in at least La Sonia, because that's where it technically ended, even though I walked into Pamplona. I got the stamp in La Sonia, and I didn't get anything from there to Pamplona. So I need to walk that stage. And I would like to do that again. And ultimately, I would like to do it before my birthday in August, because my whole plan was to do this for my 55th birthday. And so I would like to finish before I turn 56. So that is how my Camino ended. I did have a day in Pamplona during the running of the bulls. That was super fun, and I recommend, if that's something that you'd be interested in, to go do. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed following my journey a little bit. I know it didn't end the way we probably all planned it, but that's okay. Here's to second chances.